trusted tour guide Annie here, going live. I keep learning more and more about this concept of going live, so I appreciate anyone who's stuck with me and been patient while I learn. So today what I thought I'd share is my journey to the Windsor, Ontario wedding show. So why a wedding show? Like what? You know, I know I've got sports, I've got recipes, I've got it all. But it actually all has one single point where it all comes together, which is legacy and milestones. You know, I don't think, despite all the differences we see in the world between ourselves, there's a lot of things that are common. Sports being one of them, unless you're a Dallas fan then. But seriously, you know, and definitely one of the things that started me on this journey of helping people save legacy, it actually started way back when I lost my mom when I was 21. But overall, of late, during COVID, I had the opportunity to work on our family cookbook, which I have cousins that are much better at cooking and preserving recipes than me. But I was kind of the techie project manager type. And so I started OurRecipeTree and quickly had involvement from cousins, particularly Jane and Jill, twins. And they really took it upon themselves to preserve our family history with OurRecipeTree. And then as time went on, we decided to commercialize it. So that's where we're at now. And going to the Windsor wedding show is one of our first big outings with the wedding show. Now you'll notice that I've created, or maybe you won't, but I'll tell you, I've created a fan club called the Roots Crew. So let me step aside real quick and explain to you what Roots Crew means to me. I really probably don't have to explain what a Roots Crew is, because it's the people that you can rely on. I don't know if any of you have ever watched the Tyler Perry Medea YouTube video, or it's part of a bigger thing, I'm sure. But where Medea talks about relationship and likens different people in your life to, some are like leaves, they don't stay long. Some are like branches, you got to be careful because they might break. But ultimately you have your roots. And your Roots Crew are the people that really help you become your best in the beginning of your life and throughout your life. I mean, I firmly believe you can get Roots Crew at any age. And so that's why I refer to this fan club as the Roots Crew, because they're my people that we are going to save legacy, connect people, and do that using life milestones. And today's big deal is going to the Windsor wedding show, where we are a gift sponsor. We will be giving away 1-year memberships to OurRecipeTree. So what is that? Well, OurRecipeTree is a place where you can save your recipes. You can do that for free. If all you ever want to do is a place to save and digitize your recipes and be able to give someone a QR code for that page or a link to the page where your recipe is, we got you. You can do that for free. Premium memberships allow you to collaborate with other people. They can send recipes to your collection. You can send recipes to their collection. And from the collection / recipe trees, we call them, you can create a book. Now, if you've ever made a family cookbook, recipe book, I'll call it, you know what an undertaking that is. And so often what happens is you get it done. It takes you 8 months, whatever, you know, get everybody in line, herding cats and all of that. And then before you know it, it's out of date. Shoot, now I got to do this whole thing again. Whereas with OurRecipeTree and what we've developed, you can edit, update, add, make a new book, all of that on the fly. It is super simple to use. Part of that is because Jill and Jane are really tough and they don't want garbage. They didn't want anything that didn't work beautifully. So we have spent a lot of time making this a really useful and simple tool. Easy to use to create as many or as few cookbooks, and never create a cookbook if you don't want to. If all you want, like I say, if all you want to do is be a recipe saver, we have a free membership for that, free for life. We'll never ask you for a credit card. If you get invited to contribute to someone else's recipe tree or recipe collection, that's free for life. And you know, there's another thing. As I was putting together notes today and working on a video, I realized that sorry, I keep saying I'm working on it. Anyways, one of the things that I think that we've gotten so used to, we being the core team, the Roots crew that started all this, I think one of the things that we forget to mention is you only ever type a recipe once. That's it. From that, we have a place that allows you, when you're given permission by other users, to give them a copy. It's so simple. You just add their profile and boom, they've got a copy of your recipe. Only with your permission, of course. And you know, that just makes it so easy. You're not retyping, you're not printing, you're not copying, you're not texting and, you know, whatever, giving them access to G Drive. It's all very simple. The other thing is that, oops, there's another the other point is that we've got really simple to follow video instruction. So, you know, it's simple, but it's in depth. So, you know, it's one thing just to add recipes, simple, but you want to build a collection. That's got a few more nuances to it, and so we have video. You want to make a book, we share how to do that. We're with you every step of the way, and we become your Roots crew, or we'd like to. That's what we'd like to do. We've also got it set up that it's simple to give this OurRecipeTree recipe collection, I'm at a red light, don't worry, as a gift. It's very simple. It's $97 for a 1-year membership, and you know, stick around because over the next couple days we're going to do a show promo and give you a discount. So we'll post that when we're ready. But in the meantime, you know, I encourage you to look at OurRecipeTree. Check out some of the shared recipes. So when you go across the top of the navigation, you'll see recipes. Go to shared recipes. You can search on the top recipes. We don't have any of the jump to the recipe, do backflips, and maybe we'll show you a recipe after you've seen 105 advertisements. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. We're simple folks, us Roots crew. And we just want the recipe. We want the story behind it. You know, there's millions and millions, and that's not an exaggeration, tens of millions of chocolate chip cookie recipes online. But if there's one that your family made and it was a back to school tradition, that story and the picture of the people that you ate it with, that's what we're about. Not just mixing ingredients, but sharing our true history. So anyways, as I say, going to the Windsor wedding show. Obviously, we would like brides to use this, or family members to buy the bride their very own OurRecipeTree, which is a place that people can start them on their journey of collecting their recipe history, background, culture. We did one book last year that was just phenomenal, and it was so touching because we had grandma's recipes, and we had pictures of the bride with her grandma during the time that she was cooking, you know, 20 years before, 25 years before. And it really, really was a very touching, very unique, one-of-a-kind gift. That's what we're about. You know, there's so much disconnect and upset in the world. The one thing that every culture, every religion, every nationality, we all break bread. And to share that part of our life, I like to think one of the few other things that can give that kind of unity to humans is music. Food and music. So we're about the food. Maybe one day the music. But for now, we're about food. And the kitchen stories. You know, it's always interesting when you think about it, that where do people gather at a party? The kitchen. You know, you hear it referred to as the heart of the home, the heart of the family. It's in the kitchen. We've got a little hashtag we try to use, which is called, and none of us in my roots crew are Italian, but we grew up in an Italian neighborhood, and we call it hashtag Save Nonna. Save those special times. And it was interesting that this year, the movie came out, Nonna, true story from New York City. Guy opened a restaurant where he had Nonna's cooking, and it finally took off. It's done very well. And, you know, there's a warmth to eating together and, you know, arguing about whose recipe's the best. And, you know, in our premium memberships, as an aside, you're also able to, sorry, just trying to adjust this phone here. You're also able to, should you choose, keep your recipes private. I know some cooks, they want it that way. They want it kept private. They have their secret ingredients. They want to record it, and they may want to put it in a family book, but they don't want it out on the web. Well, as long as you have a premium membership, which you can start at $9 a month if you want, for that, you can keep it private. We have some really cool options if you want to do an Excel spreadsheet and put the basics of your recipes on a spreadsheet and upload them all at once and create that way. We've got that option. You want to download them to an Excel spreadsheet so you can save it just for your own safekeeping. We've got that. We allow for people to embed video. We've got a great recipe. If you go on OurRecipeTree.com and you look up applesauce, you'll see my Aunt Emmy. And Aunt Emmy is passed now, but it is a video embedded in her recipe for applesauce showing her, giving us the tips and how to make her applesauce. And for me, it's taken me a couple years to tell this story without crying because it's so precious. And I mentioned earlier, I lost my mom when I was 21, but you know, had I had this type of way to save her, even one or two recipes would have meant so much to me. And I encourage people, you know, even if you decide, hey, I don't want our recipe tree, I'm going to do it on my own. Fair enough. But please, do go do it on your own. Save some of this stuff. These milestones, you know, there's nothing I hate more than reading an obituary, which I do to keep myself in check and remember just how short life is, and hence the Milestones legacy, why all that's important to me. But, you know, you read the story of someone who was passed at 100 years old, and I get the litany of people that were related to them, but I don't get any of their story. I don't, you know, I may read, oh, Grandma loved, but I don't get any of their story. I don't, you know, I may read, oh, Grandma loved to cook every Sunday. Well, where's the recipes? What were her tips? Why did you enjoy it? What was it? So even if you don't save with OurRecipeTree.com, I encourage you, save it somewhere. It's important. You know what? I don't even care if your favorite family meal is Taco Bell. Go for it. Save it. Tell the story. Sorry, I was just getting something flashing on my screen here and I was just trying to pay attention. Anyway, so save those legacies, pass them on, use them as an opportunity to connect. workplace. You could use OurRecipeTree or create a cookbook using whatever methodology you want in the workplace and find out about other people's cultures. How do they, what do they enjoy? Is it Eastern European? Is it Western European? Is it South American? Is it Canadian? Like poutine. I'm from Canada, I want you to know. And poutine, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't know if the French folks in Canada would say that I was saying it right. But basically, it's French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. Seriously. How can you not love that? That's like somebody telling me, you know, oh, I don't like bread and butter. We probably can't be friends. I'm just saying. Because fresh bread and good butter, sadly, I could probably live on it. But I'm just saying, because fresh bread and good butter, sadly, I could probably live on it. But those are stories, and you know, I could tell a story of when I was a kid. My mom would be, you know, my dad was originally from Britain, and so, and I think it was part of my mom's heritage as well, even as a French Canadian, but we always had Sunday dinner, you know, very traditional Sunday dinner. So roast beef, mashed potatoes, vegetables, salad, whatever. We were very blessed. We had food. That was good. But my mom's greatest joy was not the roast beef and mashed potatoes, which really I loved, and the gravy. Hers was, after it was all done and my dad had left the table and it was just her and I sitting there visiting, she would take a plate, you know, a standard little plate, a saucer, if you will, and she would put gravy on it, and she would dip her bread in that. Like, that's living. Beautiful fresh bread and gravy. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a food memory for me, for sure. So, we're on the way to the wedding show. We hope to help people save their heritage. Especially, you know, a wedding is one of those milestone times in life where you've got potentially two cultures coming together. And at the very least, you have two families coming together. So to their individual histories, food histories, kitchen histories, and bring that together into a single place, I think is very symbolic and a beautiful way to start their own recipe collection and traditions. You know, we live in a world where people are in such a hurry to get on their phone, and I know I'm on my phone, and I know I'm recording, but I think there's good that can come from technology, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to do, is take the good from technology by connecting us. And so weddings, we think, is a natural customer for us. And so we're going to the wedding show to show what we've got, to share with people how we can help them, and to learn from them, you know, well, I like this, but maybe I'd like it this way. Maybe this service would be better. So that it's really a fact-finding mission, and to share what we've got. So the wedding show in Windsor today runs from 4:30 to 9. And then this is, my understanding, this is the first time doing it, Nancy Campana from Nouveau Event Planning, it's her show, and she has been very kind and very supportive in helping us bring our message to the wedding customers. And so she notes that this is the smaller of the two shows. January is really a big show, and so we want to be ready for that, and that's why we're honored and happy to be part of the fall edition, so that by January we've really honed in on the product that'll be just perfect for couples, and it'll be just perfect for couples. And what else can I tell you about our recipe tree? I guess I could tell you my origin story with it. So I currently live in the States. I'm from Canada. I had married an American, second marriage, and life was great. We had bought a house together after we got married, and I had gone home to Canada where I was working. We're in the Detroit, Windsor area, so we're separated by like a mile of water. And that's it, the Detroit River. And I went home. I left my dog with my husband, and I had gone home the second weekend in March to work in Windsor where I was working at the time, not really thinking anything of it. And all of a sudden, guess what? COVID closed the border. Done. You cannot go back. I ended up not seeing my husband for March, April, May, June, 4 months. And it was incredibly difficult for myself and so many families on the border. And I try to be not always successful, but I do try and find positives in life. And so what I did was decided that I needed a positive project, and I contacted my cousins who I mentioned before had already created at least a couple editions of a family cookbook. They had done it as a fundraiser before, and I'm going to mention fundraisers in a bit here, but so they had done that, and I said, can you send me the digital version so I can update it and add some more notes? And believe it or not, it had been done on a typewriter. Imagine a typewriter. Feels like forever ago that typewriters were used. Anyway, so they didn't have a digital version. So I had a copy of the print one, the hard copy, and I tried to scan it and use technology to pull it apart, turned it into a Word document. No way, no how. Didn't work. Thought, well, I've got to recreate it. We've got to type it, because we'll never be able to update it if we don't break down and do the hard work now and recreate it. Then I thought, okay, so if we're going to do this, though, maybe there's a chance to build a platform that other people could use it, and we could learn to do this. So that's what I started to do. It's been a long journey, but it's been a good one, very interesting. And the biggest thing was, I mentioned earlier, it wasn't just about the recipes. If all you want is what ingredients to put together, have at it. There's millions online, and for some people, that's all they want. That's not what breaking bread and being together and sharing your culture and your heritage, that's not what that is for me. It's the story of your mom dipping her bread in gravy. It's the story of Nona being in the kitchen and wanting only a certain type of tomato. That's it. That's all. That's the only one that's good. Or a certain type of pasta, or, those are the things and the stories and how emphatic people can be about their recipes. That's what we wanted to save. And of course, the pictures with them. And it's interesting, I'll share real quickly. AI has a lot of good to it. But it fascinates me because a lot of the different things, the different groups and so on Facebook, on Instagram, they're fake. They say, oh, grandma's cooking. I see the same, because I'm in this niche and I'm constantly looking at different opportunities to learn. You'll see the same picture of Nona with 20 different accounts. It's like, wait a minute, isn't that the same fake person? And sure enough, it is. So we are real deal. We are just people that want to save recipes and connect people. Before I get into the fundraising side, I just want to tell you, talk about, as trusted tour guide Annie, milestones, legacy, saving these things, connecting, teaching the next generation, leveling up, not aging. So to all the gamers that may stop by here and see this, don't think of me as old. Think of me as X number of levels higher than you. Thank you. So, in terms of loneliness, the CDC has reported that loneliness, aka disconnect, can be as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So the need to get connected is truly related to your physical and mental health, proven and reported by the CDC. So connection is hugely important. So I said I was going to talk real quickly about fundraising. So we have just completed a project that took us approximately 5 months. It was in Amherstburg, Ontario, Canada. Jill Canwisher, first cousin of mine, more like a sister, of course, but she took on the role of project manager. She does a lot of volunteer work, and she is a board member with the Amherstburg Food and Fellowship Mission in Amherstburg, Ontario. She agreed, and we did a mission in Amherstburg, Ontario. She agreed, and we did a local celebrity cookbook. OurRecipeTree software and platform allowed us to bring it all together and produce a PDF book that we then printed and sold. We sold out of 300 books in a matter of days. OurRecipeTree donated all our time and resources to this one particular project. Some of it, admittedly, is so that we could try it and we could share the story with people of, did it work? What did we learn? And we did learn a lot doing it. We improved our product immensely during the process. But it really is such a beautiful book, and we're so pleased with it and during the process. But it really is such a beautiful book, and we're so pleased with it, and we hope to help other organizations build their cookbooks. You know, they used to have a lot more church cookbooks, but these are next level. The other side of it is all of this is kept online, so if they wanted to do a new edition or update in a few years, it's all saved and ready to go. It's not starting again. I know that for people that want to create heirloom book, whether it's a workplace or a fundraiser for a team or an team building exercise in the workplace, you know, it's a big undertaking. There's a lot of work to it, and OurRecipeTree allows organizations and places and various groups, each one can put in their own recipe, type it in. We're also set up that if all you want to do is take a picture of your recipe card and put that in, you can do it that way. All you have to do is type the title, a few what I would call tombstone data information about it. We always make it mandatory what background it's from. Is it American, Canadian, European, Ukrainian, etc., etc., and what is it? For example, is it lunch, dinner, breakfast, etc.? And other than that, it's so simple. Add a few pictures. The other side of it is we are very much available, particularly to not-for-profit organizations. If they need help and guidance, we'll help anybody, for sure. But we're all about, in the beginning, we thought, wouldn't it be great for those of us that have had the privilege of having a lack of food scarcity in our lives and who have beautiful kitchen memories and, you know, eating rhubarb, sticking the stalk of rhubarb in sugar, different silly little things we did. Wouldn't it be great if we could save those stories and use those resources that we gain by selling memberships, etc., to feed people that don't have food stability, that suffer with food scarcity? Let's share the wealth of those of us who are so privileged. So that's part of what we're doing. So again, on my way to the Windsor Wedding Show, Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I encourage you, if you're in the Windsor area, to come on out. Come say hi. Let us know you saw us on TikTok today or any day. My cousin Jane has done some beautiful work with some of our other accounts. This is the Trusted Tour Guide Annie account, but we do have at OurRecipeTree on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, all over the place. We are trying to spread the word and make a difference and share your food stories and giggles and all the different things that happen in a kitchen, all the fun stuff. Let's see. I think that's about it for now. I will post some pictures or some short videos from the show later. I'm very grateful to those of you that have stopped by. I would love to hear your questions. If you can follow, subscribe, share, like, all those good things. It helps me get to a point where I can do this full time and help people with their milestones. Check out some of my other stuff. It's all milestones and legacies. For me, that tends to be OurRecipeTree and sporting events. I love sporting events. Been to the Super Bowl 2.5 times. I'll share that another day. And I encourage you to find your dreams, find your bucket list. Don't let time go by. Take advantage of it. Use some of the skills that you've gained. I know people that are wonderful project managers, administrators, executives in the corporate world, but they don't use those same skills to live their life and get as much as they can out of their life. So I encourage you to do that. If you check me out on YouTube, at Trusted Tour Guide Annie, and at my website, you'll see that I have a legacy snapshot worksheet. It'll help you come up with ideas. Take one thing that you want to do and make a plan on how you can execute it. You need help? Send me a note. I'd love to help you. You want to save your recipes? Check out at OurRecipeTree.com. So thank you so much for your time. I will be on here again. I'll post some short videos and some display from the wedding show, and we'll talk to you soon. And I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Save those recipes and all the good stuff you do. Thank you.